So, okay, I've had a few requests or people asking how I export 3D models from the N64 games in my YouTube videos. And yeah, I wanted to make a short tutorial on how I do it, because as far as I know, no one has documented this method on YouTube. There are a lot of videos on a different method, which is a lot more difficult and annoying. This method is a lot easier, and I recently came across this, and yeah, it's very nice. So there's 4 things you're gonna need. These 4 here. You're gonna need an emulator called Rosalie's Mupen GUI, or RMG. You're gonna need a plugin for that emulator called Glide N64 Scene Ripper. You're gonna need Blender, and you're gonna need a plugin for Blender called Blender Import GLR. I will put links to all of these things in the description for this video. If we do want to see, here is the page for downloading the emulator. Now, the latest version here is 057. The one I'm using is 052. I know it at least works with 052. I don't want to update anything as long as it works. So yeah, the one I'm using is at least 052, if you want to know. It's probably going to work with the more recent versions as well, though. But yeah, get the emulator from here. Then you're going to want this plugin, which you can find here. I'll put the link to this as well. If you click releases here, you can download this file, this DLL file. And there are pretty good instructions here on how to set everything up. If we do go into basically what you have to do is you have to take the plugin file, you download it, put it here in this plugin folder under GFX, and this is the file here in my folder. So after you've done this, you're gonna want to go to settings, and you're gonna open the emulator, go to settings, choose graphics, and here under texture enhancement, you're gonna have to use texture, click texture, use texture pack, and generate scene rip textures. You have to click these. And in scene ripping, you're gonna have to click enable scene ripping. And you're gonna want to choose hotkeys for these 2 options: toggle textures dump and perform scene rip. I chose A and S, but you can do whatever you want. So once you've done all of this, this is basically what's in these instructions here. And there's probably more stuff you can tweak and mess around with, but once you've done this, you can actually start ripping stuff from the game. So yeah, before we move on to Blender, I'm gonna go through how I would kind of do one level. I still have to do one level. Yeah, currently I'm extracting stuff from the game Bug Bumble. So let's just do one level from Bug Bumble. So, okay, I have the game open. The next level I need to do is number 10. So, yeah, one thing when you're doing this, you probably want to use cheats. Well, at least for me, I'm extracting the whole map, and I don't want to go through the effort of actually playing the game through this. I just want to be able to go through the level easily. So I've set it so I can select the levels, and I have invincibility, and so the game isn't really in my way. So actually what I want to do first for this game is I want to get rid of all the enemies, because we're gonna be like extracting a bunch of scenes, and every time you extract a scene, the enemy will then duplicate if he's still alive, and he will have moved, so you'll end up with a bunch of enemies on your map, and it's just, you know, really annoying to remove. So first thing I want to do is just get rid of all the enemies so they don't duplicate all over. So, okay, I've gotten rid of all the enemies in the level, and now I'm actually going to start extracting the scenes. So, first thing you want to do is toggle the texture dumping on. That was one of the hotkeys we set earlier. So if I press A for me, the texture dumping gets turned on. And now, basically, I just want to stop here when I kind of look at this area and I press S. And you'll see it said scene ripped in the bottom left corner. Now it's basically ripped or extracted all of the information you see on screen. But in order to get this whole room, I'm going to have to turn around and do the other side as well. Let's press S here as well. And I'm not sure it got the sides properly, so I'm going to do also, yeah, basically from every angle. I'm going to do one here and one on the other side. Here-ish. And this should be enough to cover at least this room. So let's just pause the emulator and see how this looks in Blender. So yeah, next thing you want to do is open Blender or get Blender if you don't have it. And you're going to have to add an add-on to Blender, which you can find here. I'll also put a link to this. And you can go here to releases, click that, and download this zip. Inside Blender, you can, in preferences, you can go here into add-ons and install, and then just click the zip, and that should automatically install the add-on. And then you do have to be careful to like enable it here on the left. Yeah, I don't know what exactly it's called. Here, oh yeah, here it is. Import, export, glide, and N64 RIP GLR importer. So you have to have this enabled. So once you've done this, let's get rid of the cube here. You can go into import, and there should be this option, glide N64 RIP. Once you do this, you can go into your emulator file and push here, or go into a cache. I don't know how to say this, but then you go to texture dump, and then you can choose the game. For me, it's Bug Bumble. Just press on, and yeah, until you basically get to this folder called Scene Rips, where go into Scene Rips, and at the bottom of that folder you should have these GLR files, one for every scene that you ripped. So I have 4 because I ripped 4 times from the game. Now if I import this, we're not going to see anything on screen because these generally tend to be huge. They're very, very, very big. So they're way too big to work with. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to join them together. Get rid of the fog. And then I'm going to scale them down to like 0.01-ish. So now we can actually see what's going on. And yeah, here we can see this is the room I just exported. Here it is with colors. So basically, you just need to keep doing this for all the sections of the level if you want to export the whole level. You're just gonna have to go through the level and export a bunch of scenes. So far, I've needed around 60 scenes per level. So yeah, that's basically it. Sometimes there is a bunch of cleaning up you need to do, like bullets in the air, which, you know, they'll really kind of clutter the whole scene, or enemies, or explosions and stuff like this that tends to like duplicate with every scene. So sometimes you do have to do a bit of cleanup in Blender. Also, there are some games where this will not work, unfortunately. Like, I know 2 games, Indiana Jones on the N64, that one, like, some objects don't export, or the size doesn't export proportionally to the rest of the level, so that whole kind of export just becomes a mess. And another game, Shadow Man, the export for that game will rely on where the camera is. So you can see when I export it here, all of the pieces, they just lined up. So I didn't have to fit anything together, but for Shadow Man, basically, yeah, they're not gonna line up when you import them into Blender. So you basically, like, you have to puzzle the pieces together yourself, which is extremely difficult, and I don't really have any method for that. So not every game is gonna work properly, unfortunately. But yeah, that's how I do it. Hope this helps anyone. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions. You can ask in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer. All right, see you around.